Hello, I'm Art,
And I am Tony.
and we are from GardenMastersWithAZ.com.
GardenMastersWithAZ.com.
Tony, what is with your voice?
I know I have laryngitis, but you know what? The show must go on. We planned on shooting today, so that's what we're doing. Anyway, today we want to show you our own winter garden cleanup and answer the questions of why you should do it. And indeed, we think you should do it. It's important that you do. Be sure to stick around till the end, where you'll see a remarkable garden transformation. That will seal the deal for you. You'll definitely want to do it after seeing that.
I say in January, people say it's time to clean out the closets, clean out the house, get rid of things. Well, you know what? You can do that in the garden too.
Yes, you can. So there are three main reasons why you should do this at this time of the year. The first is it just looks good. It just makes your gardens look better. When you're coming in from work or when you're walking down your sidewalks, don't you want to see nice looking gardens that are well kept instead of gardens that are like a bunch of debris? I mean, I would say yes.
Well, you know something, the other day, Tony and I went for a walk around the neighborhood. And believe it or not, we passed by some houses. There was lots of weeds, overgrown shrubs and stuff. Then we passed by this one house. Everything was cleaned up for the end of the season.
I know.
And there was a fresh layer of mulch.
Not only that, but they edged the gardens. It looked beautiful.
Oh my
It
goodness.
looked beautiful.
It looked like spring.
Yes.
You know? Why
Except
do
there
you-
wasn't any plants.
You know, there's the shrubs in the garden, but it really looked good and stood out in the neighborhood. So I
then-
think you should work on that for yourself.
And the number two reason is
Rodents.
rodents.
See all this debris where the plants have died back over the winter? Those little rodents are saying, oh, that looks like a perfect little nest. And you know something? While they're nesting, they're saying, I'm hungry. And you know what they start doing? They start chewing the roots.
They do.
They start chewing the bulbs. So it's time.
In fact, we have a helibore back there where they've started to dig down below. And it's like, no, you can't. You can't eat our roots.
Keep an eye on your gardens during the winter. Take a walk around your property because you never know what's going on.
Yes, and we'll hear the argument, and it is a valid argument, that also besides rodents, there are beneficial insects that like to overwinter in your dead debris. And that is true. But the thing is, we live with a forest behind us. There is loads, tons and tons of acreage of places for insects to overwinter. And in your neighborhood, I'm sure you have lots of places where insects can overwinter too. So your one little yard, I don't think is going to really have an effect on the insect population of your town. So I really think that it's more important to try to eliminate the rodent threat than it is, the other way.
Yes.
So the number three reason to do it now is get a jump start on your season. These gardens are going to be cleaned out, they're going to be mulched, and they're going to be ready for spring without any work needed at all. And it's a wonderful feeling. The perennials are going to start popping through the mulch, and it's going to be great. So those are the three reasons to do it now.
So I want to reiterate what Tony when he says about the mulching. Now that property we went by looked like it was totally ready for next spring. But what I want to do is just put a light layer.
Light layer.
Because if you mulch right now, come mid-spring or whatever, your mulch is going to be faded. So you can either do one thing or another, and that is mulch heavily and do a top dressing in the spring, or do a light layer now and then do a heavier layer in the spring.
Because
So
Go ahead.
another thing about the mulching is there is winter annuals. There is
Perennials.
no, I'm talking about perennial weeds
Oh.
to grow during the winter months. You don't want them to grab a hold. So before we put a little bit of mulch down, we're going to put a little bit of pre-emergent down. Put the mulch down to hold our beds until we can put our final spring mulch down, and the weeds are going to be at bay.
The last thing I want to say about mulch is mulch will help to insulate your perennials. You know, the debris that's there right now helps to insulate the perennials from the cold. And if we remove that debris, we're going to add a little bit of mulch, and that will again help to insulate them from the cold during the winter. And it depends on your weather and how cold your climate gets, but it does help.
So one thing on that, Tony, is I found in the spring we want to get an early start. So we're pulling the debris off the top of the plants, and we're noticing that the perennials have already started to shoot up new shoots.
Yes.
And then we get a cold snap, and it just puts them into a tizzy. They just slow right down. So why not let them put some mulch over them, let them grow at their speed, and they won't be put into a tizzy.
What is the definition of a tizzy?
I'm growing, I'm growing, I'm growing. Ah, it's cold! I need to put my sweater on and go back down.
Okay, that's what it is. I've always wondered.
They get little brown tips on them, and they're saying, no, it's not time to be growing.
Before we move on with the garden transformation, which you'll really want to stick around for,
If you
What a
like this,
dilemma.
if you like this video, make sure you click that or tap that subscribe button to get notified of more videos when we put them out. Because you know what? If you miss a video, it just might be the one that you really needed to overcome some type of gardening obstacle. So hit that subscribe button. We'd surely appreciate it.
And if you don't hit that subscribe button, you never know. The next time, Tony might not be able to speak because he has laryngitis.
I know I might not be able to talk next time, and you'll want to definitely watch for that.
Oh my goodness. What a mess.
What a mess.
A mess.
but not for long.
I'm overheated, can hardly sleep at night, doing crazy dreaming. You're the reason why, hiding by the baby, losing my mind. Don't try to save me. I feel alive. My world is faster and faster. The tears and the laughter. I'm here for the ride. I'm overheated, can hardly sleep at night, doing crazy dreaming. You're the reason why, hiding by the baby, losing my mind. Don't try to save me. I feel alive. My world is faster and faster. The tears and the laughter. I'm here for the ride.
So now that we have the garden cleared, the next thing we're going to do is to define the edge. During the summer, there's been a lot of mulch and soil washed down against the stone wall. So we're pushing that all back up, define the wall a little bit more, and it'll create a nice crisp look versus this.
One edge was a stone wall. This edge is a trenched edge that borders the grass.
Not a weed. Black eye season. Nettle. One last rake off. Blend that extra soil we had from the edge into the garden. You'll notice that the soil is very dark, rich, from many years of mulching. Now that the garden is leveled off, debris is removed, Tony's going to add a little pre-emergent to stop any of the winter weeds from germinating. We've never put pre-emergent down in the winter before, but it does stop weeds from germinating. So there is winter weeds that germinate, like chickweed.
We're now ready for mulch.
Doing crazy dreaming.
And that is it for the mulching. We didn't have enough for the entire garden, but we got most of it covered. Art is now blowing off the wall of any loose mulch to make it look really nice as the final step. And now the final reveal, the before and after. You may notice something is missing in this garden. That is, shrubs and evergreens. This garden is not planted for winter interest, a very important thing to consider when you're designing gardens. Look for our video on that exact thing, planting for winter interest, to show you what we mean and how to do it. The link is in the description and will be linked above. Also, watch for our video where we transform the garden seen here into a year-round garden so that it will never be devoid of plants in the winter again. And hit that subscribe button and bell notification so you'll be notified when that video comes out, if in fact it hasn't been released already.